Welcome back to the channel. I'm Suzanne with Arvabelle, and in this video we're going to discuss 3 different jobs that you can get without having a college education. So number 1, be a plumber. Not really. I've seen a lot of these videos out there, but I wanted to do this one a little bit differently. So instead of just listing off a bunch of different jobs, I'm actually going to go more in depth on them. We will talk about how much you can actually make with these jobs, how much it costs to get started, because a lot of this isn't free. You do still have to have some sort of certifications or training. For all 3 of these careers, you can get a job with an employer. So we'll take a look at some actual job listings that I found. But for people who are more interested in working for themselves, we will also kind of discuss how you could turn these into a scalable business. And then I'll also give some examples of people who have actually successfully done that. Remember to subscribe to the channel and we will get started. Number 1 is digital media and digital marketing jobs. So jobs in this area are going to be content creation, so like creating blog posts or videos or social media content. Or if you're more on the marketing side, it may be actually managing those social media accounts or managing a website or managing an email campaign or creating ClickFunnels or something of that nature. Digital media and digital marketing can encompass a number of different things, but the average salary is going to be around $55,000 a year. A lot of people with digital media and digital marketing, it's advertised as like, you can start for free, absolutely no money. Well, yes and no. Maybe if you're running ads, yeah, you don't really need anything to get started. But if you're more on the content creation side, you will need to have some different materials. So let's break down some of these costs. Some of these things may be covered by an employer, but obviously if you're working for yourself, you won't have anyone covering these costs for you. So a full year subscription of all of the Adobe Creative Cloud products is going to run you around $390 a year. You would likely also want to set up your own website. So a domain name as well as domain hosting can run you anywhere between $100 and $300, really just depending on what type of package you get. If it makes you feel better to have some sort of degree, you can get an associate's degree in graphic design for about like $6,000, maybe $6,000 or $7,000, and that may depend on your state. But if you want like a full marketing degree, go for it, but you absolutely do not need one. You can find everything that you really need to learn on YouTube and just different sources online. If you have good work and you have proven results of growing an audience or of generating traffic, literally no one cares whether or not you have a college degree. So we are going to look at a listing that I found for a social media marketing manager. And this is an actual listing that I found on Indeed. I chopped the top part off of these, but oops. So while I'm pulling this up, remember to subscribe to the channel. And you can pause the video if you want to read the full thing. I'm not going to read the full thing to you. But what I want to point out with this one specifically is that nowhere in here does it say anything about what type of education you need. It doesn't say anything about years of experience. It does say like social media marketing experience, but honestly, you could be like 18 and have social media marketing experience. With these types of jobs, it does not matter if you have a degree or not, as long as you can get results. An idea to make this job into a scalable business would be to actually create your own agency. So most likely how the structure of this would look is you would start off by yourself and build your client base. Then as you get more clients than you can handle, you could hire out people to help you with the work. Eventually, as an agency, you could end up hiring out all of your work, or if you do still want to stay involved, you could go the route of only putting your attention towards the higher priority tasks like maintaining client relations and sitting down with your clients, especially if they are very like high paying clients, sitting down with them and making sure that you understand what they need from your agency and making sure that that message is accurately relayed to your team. If you do decide to create your own agency or even just to like freelance on your own, that will incur some additional costs. If you just do it like by yourself, in Texas at least, filing LLC papers and like a doing business as paper is going to run you around around like $350. If you hire a lawyer to help you with it, it's going to be more like $450 or $550. But before you totally like discount paying that extra, it is difficult to find the information to do it yourself. And if you are dealing with employees or subcontractors, you want to make sure that you do hire a lawyer and a CPA to make sure that you are setting up the structure of your business right. So if you're thinking of starting an agency, be sure that you look into all of that stuff. An example of someone who's in the digital media and marketing space would be Apple Kreider. So in addition to having his own podcast, he actually runs his own agency where he manages like Instagram accounts and things like that for other YouTubers and just other people who need it. Number 2 is to be a cosmetologist. Usually being a hairdresser, you are going to be working on commission, but it really just depends on where you're working. And truthfully, I don't know a lot about this. So when you are done with this video, be sure that you go and watch the last video where I interviewed my friend Nicole. She talks about her process of getting licensed as a hairdresser when she was 18, sort of her experience being in the industry for 4 years, and how she got her education and her license without going to college. With this job, you could expect to make anywhere between $20,000 and $50,000 a year or more, plus tips. And I know that's not very helpful to have such a large range as like a salary average, but since it is a physically based business where people physically have to walk through the door, it is totally dependent on where you're actually located. So someone in West LA is going to be able to charge more because there's more people, more traffic, more demand than someone in like a random rural town in Oklahoma. To get started for your education and your license and your supplies, it can cost anywhere between $1,000 and $20,000 or more. Again, that is a super large range, and if you're wondering why, do go and watch that interview that I did with Nicole because she did a great job of covering that and kind of talks through the different options that you have and the price points, but you don't have to get an expensive education. Okay, so I'm gonna pull up the most like in-depth job description that I could find for a hairdresser or a hairstylist, and I'm gonna have to break this into like 2 images. So if you want to read the whole thing, again, just pause the video. So I'm not going to read through all of this, but I do mainly want to focus on this first part where it has the different levels, I guess. And Nicole does talk about this in the interview, but basically you have to go through different steps. Like you aren't going to start out just on the floor cutting hair. You do usually have to start out as an apprentice of some sort. So how would you make this into a scalable business? Well, you could start your own salon, you could start a chain of salons, or you could sell your own products, or you could do a combination of all 3. An example of someone who has done this is Alex Pardo, who was featured on CNBC's Millennial Money. Now, his spending was a little bit out of control, but really what I thought was the interesting part of that video was that he was able to use social media to basically like explode his career into this business that makes almost $300,000 a year. Is that the norm? Probably not, but like if you want to do that, you might as well try. So I debated what to put as the last job, but I was like, oh, this one's fun. So number 3 is to be a personal trainer. If you're into fitness anyways, this is perfect, and the range is about the same as cosmetologists. It's anywhere from like $20,000 or $30,000 a year to $60,000 a year. It's going to cost anywhere from around $500 to $2,000 or maybe a little bit more to get all of the certifications that you need. And it's also going to depend on what state you're in, as well as if you're getting any sort of specialty certifications. So this was just a listing from a 24-hour fitness that I found. And again, if you want to read it, you can pause it. But really what I want to draw attention to is to the certifications and educational requirements part. It doesn't say anything about a college degree. You know, you do have to get like CPR certified and all of that, but that's expected. What's important though is this last list of training certifications. If you know that you want to work for a certain place, make sure that you are absolutely certain that your certification is going to allow you to be able to work at the place that you want to. How you could scale being a personal trainer would be, I mean, you could do something like open up your own gym or run a Pilates class or a yoga class or whatever you like doing, but that's obviously going to cost a lot more. You could also just start working with your own private clients, and you could start selling products like yoga mats or water bottles, really whatever you can think of. So the first business that came to mind when I thought of personal training as one of these was Blogilates. So the genius of Blogilates is that she turned it into this massive business where she sells her own products. She has like meal plans and an app and different calendar things. Like, she has everything. And on top of that, she also makes money off of YouTube videos. So she's a marketing genius, and I love it. But that's just a really fun idea, and it's all based off of Pilates. You can take these careers in pretty much any direction that you want. And like Nicole said in the last video, there isn't any like one path to success. And college is not like the be-all end-all of that. Whatever you have a passion for, there are ways to monetize it. You just have to have a plan and put in the work. So hopefully this video was a little bit different than the other ones out there. If you did like this type of video, remember to subscribe to the channel and to hit that like button. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.